happy Wednesday. I hope you are doing well, that your week is off to a great start, and that you are being productive. Let's just jump right into it today. Financial goals. And like I shared with you in the last video, this is definitely one of the top focuses of my vision board. It always is. I think that we really have to do a better job of making that priority. I'm really being educated right now on just how money works for you. And my brain is very opposite of analytics and all of the critical thinking that goes into numbers, okay? I am more creative, so I really have to discipline myself to make sure that I am educating myself and I'm being informed. And I have done so many different seminars and workshops and coaching that have opened my eyes to new opportunities and new ways of having your money work for you, right? And a lot of people have varying opinions about money and how you have to save. And I definitely find that is very different generationally. So maybe one day that'll be a topic. But for today, I am going to share the things that I have been focusing on and how I've seen them work for me. First, I just want to ask, when did you start thinking about saving? When did you start thinking about your money, how it works? Of course, you're in school and they're like, what's $1 plus $1? And you're like, dude, that's so much money, right? Think about little kids, okay? It is a lot of money for them. It's a lot of money for them because life has not sat in, right? They do not have the same concerns that we do as adults, the things that have to be taken care of so that we can live our day-to-day lives. And rightfully so, as children, that's a blessing. I know I was raised in that way where my parents took care of things. And so I did not have to think for quite some time about how things would work out, how I would take care of an activity for school, how I would put gas in my car sometimes when I first started driving, right? Because your parents do that. I still learned responsibility, right? I knew at a certain point, don't ask your parents for gas. Don't ask your parents for this. It was more of the bigger things that I kind of took for granted, that my parents will be there to help me if I drop this, if I, don't have enough for this, and that's young people, right? And you get to that point where you just realize, I gotta get that together. So I would say when I moved to Boston, that's when I really, I started paying bills on my own. And you're like, how old were you then? I was 25, right? So I was in a big city, cost of living way different, right? And I had to grind and temp and look for jobs and do babysitting, do other side things to really find my space. And I just always knew, like, I am not going to be working like this for other people forever, But those times did teach me the value of taking care of myself and making sure bills are paid on time, making sure that you are being mindful of the money that you're taking in and what you're spending, right? I mean, these are things sometimes that we just don't think about, and you really have to be more strategic so that you can set yourself up well for the future. In Boston, I started setting goals. I started saying, these are the things I want to see. I want to save this. I want to obtain this. I want to be able to go here. I want to be able to do that. I want to learn about my credit. I want to learn about investing. All of those things started to come as I was really thinking about the goals that I have for my life. And I challenge you with that. What goals do you have for yourself? What goals, financial goals, are you trying to achieve so that you can set yourself and your future up for great success? And your future, if you have a family, could definitely be for your family. Even if you're a single person, I know I think about my future, and I don't have a family yet, my own nuclear family, but I know I'm thinking for future for them, because I don't want there to be certain struggles that I had to go through and experience when I know better, when I've seen a better way of doing things, right? So it just depends, and you need to take time and really consider that. Really think about how I want to set myself up for the future. Finally, I am now diving into a book that's been out for over 20 years, okay? Just because I like to know different ways of thinking, what other people are considering. This book came out when I graduated high school, right? And they say a lot about, we don't teach our children about money in schools. Of course, we teach them the mathematics behind it, but not how it works. And so we're not going to dive into that pool, but I will say Rich Dad, Poor Dad, that came out when I graduated high school, and I really am excited to jump in. I've always heard nuggets, I've always heard principles and tools that have come from there, but never really read the book for myself. And so I'm looking forward to finishing that, and I'll probably let you all know how that goes. There's definitely some radical thinking in there, but even more so today, more people are grasping some of those concepts, and it just depends on your train of thought and where you are. Super excited to get into that book and learn more. I'm definitely learning right now about investing, about saving, and most of the time, the saving is for the things that I want, right? Because I know investing and knowing how to make my money work for me is what's setting me up for the future. And that details a whole bunch of things, so it's exciting. It's exciting, and I am in no way, shape, or form an expert in this. This is the area where I have to be diligent. I have to ask questions. I have to weigh all my options and understand what I can do and the things that I need more support with. Right. So I hope that you do that for yourself. I hope that you create some goals. I have some goals that I'm keeping just to have fun and travel. Right. But I also have goals where it's like, this is investment money. These are things I'm not touching because I know that this is for my future. Right. And these are things I want to not position myself. Well, yeah, I want to position myself in this way with this mentality for my future, right? So again, I'm gonna stop because I don't want to ramble, but the only other thing I was going to share is that, get a principle and hold to it. I had one friend whose mom said $25 every check, put it away in your retirement. I had another friend who was teaching me about investment and was like, learn as much as you can. There's tons of different ways that you can invest out here now. So do your research, right? And find, what will work for you. And then finally, there was a principle that really helped me to really start honing in on understanding what I'm putting out, my expenses, versus revenue. And that was the 50-30-20 principle. And that was from a wealth series that I did from some dear friends in Cincinnati. And it was great. And I got that from Miss Ashley Brewster. And she was saying, 50% of our money goes to our needs, 30% goes to the things that we want, right? Which you still have to be mindful of. And then 20% should be going into your savings, right? Whatever that might look like for you. So be encouraged. Set some financial goals for yourself. It's important, right? And the one thing that holds me together when I'm thinking about this, even when I'm like overwhelmed by certain concepts, is I know I'm doing this for my future. I know this is for my well-being, for my family's well-being. And I also know that I am a lender and I'm not a borrower. And in order to do that, I have to set myself up and position myself to be successful in that way so that I can not just touch my family, but I can touch my community, I can touch my world. So I hope you all are encouraged by a little bitty something today, and I will see you in the next video.